What if the one you thought was gone forever suddenly came running back into your arms? Today, you're about to witness 20 of the most emotional animal reunions ever captured on camera. These moments will remind you that real love never fades, and true bonds can survive even the longest separations. She hadn't seen him in years. He raised her as a cub, but when she was moved to a sanctuary, they were separated. Years later, this lioness ran straight into his arms, rubbing her face against his chest. She remembered everything. Marine Jacob Barella spent years serving alongside his canine partner, Attila. After retirement, it took him 3 years to win the right to bring him home. When they reunited, Attila leapt into his arms, tail wagging wildly, just like old times. Now, years later, he called their names. An entire herd of elephants came running toward him. They wrapped him in their trunks and surrounded him with love. Damien raised a gorilla named Queeby and later released him into the wild. 5 years passed. Damien returned, not knowing if he'd be remembered. Queeby sprinted toward him and hugged him like no time had passed. After 2 years apart, a schnauzer named Casey saw her owner and fainted from excitement. She was so overwhelmed with happiness that she collapsed in joy. Thankfully, she was fine, just overcome with love. Limbani the chimp was abandoned at birth and raised by a couple like their own child. Years later, he saw them again. He squealed, clapped, and hugged them tightly, refusing to let go. Aaron's car was stolen, and inside was his beloved dog Jolene. Weeks passed, and he lost hope. Then Jolene was found in another state. The second she saw him, she ran into his arms and cried with joy. Most crocodiles hiss or snap, but not this one. When the man who raised it came to visit, it swam to him and purred like a cat. After flying away during a storm, this parrot returned home months later. It landed on its owner's shoulder, cooed softly, and nestled in. This lion approached the group with caution, but the moment he heard his former owner's voice, everything changed. He rushed over and melted into his arms. This dog couldn't hear, but when his owner returned after a long time away, he sensed her instantly. He ran into her arms, wagging his tail in pure delight. Once a year, this monkey sees the man who saved him from starvation. Each reunion is filled with tight hugs and long stares. The monkey clings like he never wants to say goodbye again. Among a group of people, one camel broke into tears when it spotted its owner. It wrapped its long neck around him and refused to let go. Mitzi the dog had been missing for 3 days. She was found curled up in a muddy foxhole. When her owner called her name, she sprang up and ran into his arms. When this man returned to feed a swan he once rescued, the bird wouldn't stop honking. It followed him closely, flapping its wings like it had waited for this day. After 3 years apart, 2 jaguars saw their former caretaker again. They purred, rubbed against him, and rolled on the ground like oversized cats. After 4 months away, A girl returned to see her horse. He walked slowly, pressed his head to her chest, and stood silently. A baby elephant hadn't seen its zookeeper for months. When she returned, it wrapped its trunk around her and kissed her again and again. An eagle rescued years ago now returns every year. It lands gently on one man's arm and rests its head on his shoulder. This dog couldn't see, but she sniffed once and ran straight into her owner's arms. She didn't need sight, she just knew. A week-old hippo was hand-raised after floods washed her from her pod. Years later, the river monster snuffles and wiggles like an excited puppy the moment she hears her rescuer's voice. Even 2 tons of muscle can't hide pure joy. In an Australian sanctuary, a kangaroo who once clung to life now clings to the woman who saved him. He hops over, wraps his paws around her waist, and won't let go. Proof that gratitude can bounce. 2 orphaned rhino calves rumble like idling trucks the instant they spot the ranger who nursed them through the night. They press their horn stumps to her chest, squeaking a chorus of "Welcome home." A rescued lynx hasn't seen her human in 10 months. She greets her with purrs, then swats the air as if scolding, "Don't vanish that long again." It's Christmas Eve when a family whistles, and they're missing husky barrels inside, howling a snowy carol of relief. Sometimes the best gifts have 4 legs and frosty noses. When Dad turns the corner, the little long ears lets out a triumphant bray and practically tap dances across the yard. A python rescued as a hatchling has grown into a living coil of muscle, yet it gently loops around its caretaker's shoulders, tongue flicking a slow, snake-like "thank you." A terminally ill zookeeper's hospital bed is wheeled to the giraffe paddock. The lanky giant bends its 6-foot neck, brushing soft lashes against his cheek in a final goodbye. If a fox could sing, this one would top the charts. After 5 years apart, she bounds up, screaming with delight, until she can tuck her red muzzle beneath her owner's chin. And some love is so deep, it survives anything. Which reunion touched your heart the most? Let us know. And remember, true love always finds its way back.